Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be brought to you by Fandomion. If you want to buy some really awesome anime merch from My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and Haiku, and so many other anime, I recommend using my link in the description box to check them out, and there's free worldwide shipping on orders over $39. You'll also get an additional 5% off using my promo code down below. For any of you guys who might be interested or on the fence, I highly recommend checking out their website. Pay attention to the size chart. That'll be the biggest thing I would tell you guys. But with that being said, though, let's jump back into today's video. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto Chapter 80. And today, I want to bring up something that one of my patrons requested of me, which is to discuss why, as we're heading into the time skip, Shikamaru is actually going to be a wild card that we're going to have to keep our eyes on, and how there's actually been foreshadowing for Shikamaru to make a huge turn that will be presented as a plot twist. As we all know, in the last few manga chapters, Boruto's manga has had a bunch of plot twists that have taken the momentum of the story and put it in high gear. Naruto got betrayed by Kawaki and sealed away alongside his wife Hinata after Kawaki said he's going to kill Boruto. Kawaki gave Boruto the scar when he tried to follow up on his threat to kill Boruto. Kawaki used Ada's shinjutsu to have his life switch with Boruto. Sarada awakened her mangekyou sharingan, and Boruto is now a rogue ninja being blamed for the deaths of Naruto and Hinata. However, my patron said that they believe the story has built-in room for there to be a resistance against Kawaki, and that Kawaki is about to be in for a rude awakening during the events of the time skip, because they believe Shikamaru is being set up for a big return in the story from a narrative perspective in terms of actually mattering in the story. Now, that's not to say they believe Shikamaru is suddenly going to emerge out the time skip as this Giga Chad, strong enough to take Kawaki down and pluck out that dojutsu from his eyes and show Kawaki what someone like Shikamaru could do using a dojutsu. No, that's not where they're going. Even though that sounds better than some of the anime canon episodes that we got in Boruto's anime. No, what my patron is suggesting is something that is of great interest to me. They're saying that Shikamaru, despite making that announcement to the ninja Konoha that Boruto has killed Naruto and Hinata, Shikamaru is on guard right now, and that narratively will be important. They say that because Shikamaru was shown being emotional when he first stated that Naruto was killed, that was more of Shikamaru having the same reaction that many of us would have if we learned that a longtime friend or a family member was killed. We'd immediately ask if there was a mistake in the reporting, and we would be emotional at first as well. However, they said that Shikamaru chose his words very carefully, despite being told by Ada that this was indeed the case. Shikamaru said that it was a probability that Naruto was killed, but he stopped short of saying it was full-blown confirmed, and that, my patron says, is the biggest red flag from a narrative perspective, because someone as smart as Shikamaru would know that he was choosing his words in the way that he was. That's not to say or suggest that Shikamaru isn't affected by the shinjutsu. He's most definitely affected. Just based off of what we've seen so far, people who were susceptible to Ada's control powers are also under the effects of the shinjutsu, so even if Shikamaru knows that something is off, the shinjutsu will present that invisible force on his mind and tell him to overlook the things that he knows are off about the situation, and will press him to just accept what he's being told. However, this is where things get really interesting. My patron says they are of the belief that Sarada and Sumire will at some point be face to face with Shikamaru, and they will in turn tell him the truth, explain Ada's shinjutsu, what it did, and the fact that the two of them are in agreement, saying the exact opposite of what Shikamaru believes to be the truth, will be a huge red flag to him. I think this is a possibility, because what it does is it gives us an idea of how hard the effects of Ada's shinjutsu can be suppressed and what might happen. I like where this is going. We know that someone as strong-willed as Sasuke has had to make a concerted effort to block the effects of the shinjutsu, and he isn't entirely successful at doing so. Still, despite everything that he saw with Boruto, from Boruto having his headband to sensing Momoshiki's chakra inside of Boruto, Sasuke still doubted his own mind and used words like, "If you're really Naruto's son," and stated that he wasn't so much believing in Boruto as he was making a choice to believe in Sarada, because her eyes transformed into the mangekyou sharingan, the eyes that reflect the heart, and he knew that his daughter was either about to force him to make the biggest mistake of his life by protecting Boruto, the man who killed Naruto and Hinata, or Sasuke was about to get that ultimate redemption while on his probation by protecting the village from the biggest threat that it's seen so far in the form of Kawaki. Shikamaru could be in a very similar situation where his mind brain is telling him one thing, but his gut is telling him that all these things are wrong. And now that he has an answer for what happened, he would know what the invisible force weighing on his mind was, because Sumire and Sarada would be able to point him out into the direction of the truth. I think that this is the irony for Kawaki's situation if this happens. Kawaki was adopted into the Hokage's home. He was raised as his son. He was trained by the Hokage, but he's gained more power, and as he's gained more power, he's overlooked a key element of what it means to be a shinobi, which is to be someone who masters the art of deception. If Shikamaru is told this information, he's not going to be dumb enough to just confront Kawaki, because he said it himself. There's nobody in the village who can stand up against him, and the only thing he's got going for him as Naruto's advisor was that as long as Naruto is safe, Shikamaru believed that Kawaki could be controlled to an extent. However, now that Naruto's been removed from the equation, there are no checks left on Kawaki. It's going to come down to how much of the shinjutsu can actually be pushed back against, and if there are consequences for doing this, like there are for people who try to harm Ada when they're under the shinjutsu, with a motto saying that anyone who tries to oppose her control powers in a lethal way will end up having their brains directly destroyed. We don't know if there's going to be a similar thing for the shinjutsu, if trying to directly go against its effects by forcing the mind to believe something that your mind's already telling you is actually reality will end up with the person driving themselves insane or destroying the mind altogether. There's a careful line to navigate, but I think that we all can agree that if there's anyone who's smart enough to find that balance, it's actually going to be Shikamaru. In fact, we've seen this before. Shikamaru is more than capable of hiding his true intentions. He outsmarted Tamari in the tuning exams while hiding his intentions and the true purpose of his moves to set up his attacks. He outsmarted Hidan and eventually took him down, and was able to destroy one of Kakuzu's hearts because Shikamaru was just that clever. In both of those instances, he went up against people who were stronger than him, but because he was able to come up with a plan and had time to think the plan out beforehand, he was able to get the most out of those situations. We've seen in the past, in particular with the Taiyuya battle and the initial battle with Hidan, that while Shikamaru is quick on his feet, it's not the same thing as when he's had time to sit there and think his options all the way through in a thorough way. And if we give Shikamaru what might be a 2.5 year time skip to think through his options, if we say that this Boruto time skip is going to be the same length in time that the time skip in Naruto was between volume 27 and 28, which is 2.5 years. If we say that that's the case, that's a lot of time for Shikamaru to come up with a plan. There's going to be a dangerous game of cat and mouse being played, one where there cannot be any mistakes made, but that standing order by Shikamaru to take out Ada if she becomes a threat to the village, Shikamaru is going to know that Sarada and Sumire are being honest, and it's going to lead to some interesting strategy, especially if the link between these three to speak telepathically is still at play. But that does go back to something I said before in the past. The whole reason why they're able to do so is because of the Yamanaka clan's hidden jutsu. Either they were taught the hidden jutsu, which is entirely possible since it's a hidden jutsu, which means anyone can learn it if a member of the clan teaches it to them, and it's not a Kekkei Genkai like I still see people getting confused about, because a Kekkei Genkai requires the bloodline to perform the jutsu. This is not the case with this. Either they were taught this jutsu and that's how they're communicating, or there's someone like Ino who's linking their minds together and should be aware of the conversations being had, unless we learn that there's some type of ninja tech doing this. But even then, you'd think that there are some Yamanaka clan members who are hooked up to that ninja tech in order for them to have those conversations. Could we see Shikamaru gather evidence against Kawaki and form a plan to take him down after the time skip? I mean, it's possible, but I'm not too sure I think this is likely. But if this does happen, I'm more than willing to eat crow, because a big part of the reason why I cover the fan theories I get submitted, especially the ones on Patreon, is because a lot of you guys have theories that you throwing out at me that ended up being true, and this is a forum for us to have a conversation. This is no different than you posting your theory on something like Reddit or Twitter or whatever else that people are using. So at least here we got like a calm atmosphere to actually talk. Nobody's going to attack you if they think that the theory is outrageous or something like that, because they'll just get blocked from my channel if they do that. However, I do want to say this: where do you guys fall on my patrons fan theory? While you think that over, click here to watch my newest Black Clover chapter review.